Hello everyone, it's Tom the taxi driver, and in this video I want to talk about how I went out and collected points when I was on the knowledge. Collecting points on the knowledge. Now this video isn't going to be about necessarily how to do the points, what you look out for in turnarounds and things like that. It's more to understand what is a point, how do you find a point, how do you know what a point of interest is, and when should you go out looking for them. So this video is kind of going to assume that you've done your blue books, and it doesn't matter if you've gone Wizan or Knowledge Point. There is a point on the knowledge. You are either on 56s, 28s, and you have to keep bolstering, you have to keep updating your knowledge in terms of points, learning new roads, because you've already done your books, you'd have already done your cross sections and missing pieces and all that sort of stuff. But you then have to go out and just keep constantly topping up your points. If you've done it knowledge point way, you'll probably end up with about 2,500 points before your first appearances. But once I got to the end of my knowledge, I was on about 9,000 points, because you're just constantly going out every week and refreshing it. Now, there's a few ways I could find points. First of all, was that when you do the daily sheets, I would underline any point that I'd never heard of. If I hadn't already learned it, I'd underline it. I'd have a separate list on my computer. Could be on your computer, it could be a notepad, whatever works best for you. And I organised it by postcode order. So what I did, let's just say it's the Aston Martin clothing store, which is on Dover Street, I believe. You put that point, Dover Street, I think that might be W1 as a postcode. You put that point under your W1 postcodes. Put that point underneath there, and over time you then start building up a list of points in W1. Now you'll find, of course, your central London points will build up a lot quicker than, say, ones down in SE22 or N6, something like that. But this is why it's important to do it by postcode order, because when you're on the knowledge, obviously you're going to be in central London areas more frequently than you are going to be in the outer stretches. And also, you don't want to miss anything when you are in those outer stretches. As those points would build up, let's say I got about 10 to 15 in, say, like SE5, Camberwell area, then I would know it's probably a good time to then go out and get all those points in one hit. And then it would just clear that SE5 list, and then I'd start building it up again slowly. There's no point going all the way to a really far destination, unless it's on your way home, something like that. There's no point going all the way to the other side of the map just to pick up one point. Be smart with your time. Down in Putney, something like that, SW15, whatever. Build up a good list so that when you go down there you can then pick up all of them. And then what I would then do is that, in terms of planning my list when I came in on the bike, I would almost, if you imagine like a loop, like a kind of like a horseshoe shape. So if I came in from like the northeast, so that would be like Lea Bridge Road area or something like that. I'd come in, maybe come through Hackney, come into the city, go over one of the bridges, maybe if I went over one of the bridges, that would then take me down to, like, say, Kennington area, something like that. Come all the way down to, say, Wimbledon, and then loop back round. So cause I know I've got to come back up northeast again. So make that kind of plan. Don't overstretch yourself. The most I would ever put on my list to go out and get would be about 25 to 30 points. So there could be 5 points in, say, Hackney, maybe about 10 in Central, followed by, say, like another 10 down in like the southwest sort of areas. And that would be my way to do it. Also remember that just because you've got 25 points on that sheet doesn't mean you're not going to go out and get any more. Quite often, the trick that I would do is that if you're pointing something, is to look at what establishments are next door or in the area of that establishment. Be smart with your time again here. A good example of this is St James's Street. You might see something like Lock & Co Hatters, the hat company on St James's Street. Well, it's worth looking at the other institutions there as well. Just because that point has come up on the sheet doesn't mean that the candidate hasn't dropped points previously. Everyone drops points in an appearance. They're not going to remember every single point, but it's very likely that the points of interest will be next door or in the immediate vicinity to the point they actually do pull. So, in the example of St James's Street, you've got Davidoff Cigars, you've got John Lobb Shoes, you've got Berry Bros and Rudd, the wine merchants. Everything, in immediate vicinity, go around and pick those up. What else constitutes a point is what you might find is interesting. If there's a queue of people outside, generally that's an interesting point. People are going to go visit there. Has it got a big sign outside? Has it got a big door? Is there people coming in and out of it? Is it in a particularly busy area? All of these are questions that you should keep on asking yourself and thinking, you know, I need to jot that down. I'll remember that point. Remember, the search for points are absolutely endless on the knowledge, but try and be smart with your time. Look at establishments that are nearby and try and cluster all your pointing all together in one area. It doesn't make sense to go all the way to the other side of the map just to pick up one point. Build them up, go see them, and get a lot done in one time. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please do like, comment, or even best, if you can subscribe, that'd be great. Thanks a lot. I'll see you all again soon.